namely that antidepressants often do not do what they promise and are in fact causing harm to many.
Dr. Steve Hotze is suing over Obamacare's employer mandate.
It's time for a wellness revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctor.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze, the founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. If you have any questions for Dr. Hotze today, then give us a call live in studio, 713-212-5950. That's 713-212-5950. Also on Facebook. So all you have to do is go to Facebook and type in Hotze Health. That's Hotze Health. And you can type in a question or a comment. I know Dr. Hotze appreciates those Facebook listeners and comments, so feel free to do that as well. And then, of course, we've got our podcast. Want to make sure that you are aware that you can download those. Listen to our radio program day or night, and the way to do that is to jump on hotzepodcast.com, HOTZEpodcast.com, and download any of our radio programs. Got a whole bunch on there, and of course, we appreciate people who are downloading those programs as well. And I just have to give a quick shout out to our Houston Astros. I am so excited. They are going to the World Series. Woo! Awesome. And you know what is so awesome about that? They followed a process. I was watching this the other night after they made the World Series, and the commentators were talking about how it was an intentional team, a data-driven team, and how every move they made, everything they did was being faithful to the process. And so you could see over a relatively short period of time, you could see how they eventually got to the World Series, and just thought, isn't that like your life? Isn't that just like business? If you're just faithful to a process and a system, then you too, Dr. Hotze, you talk about the Olympics so much, the Health Olympics, you too could win the World Series, or the World Series in health. So it was very inspiring. It was awesome to see that.
Congratulations.
That's right.
To the Houston Astros.
Absolutely. Awesome job.
I can see that you're a fanatic fan.
Well, I've been watching just
great.
A little bit.
It is.
So great that they're going to the World Series.
I watched it Friday and Saturday, and it was an impressive win, great pitching on the part of our team, Verlander, and the guy that pitched second, who relieved him, Cole, was it Calhoun? I don't know who was the guy that relieved him.
Oh, you mean on
Saturday night?
Saturday. Well, actually, Saturday it was Morton, and then it was McCullers that closed it out. Oh, that's right. Verlander pitched the day before. That's right. He did.
Yeah. Good.
So, lots
good
of great
teamwork.
pitchers on that team.
Really,
great teamwork. So
tremendous. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you make the point that they follow a system and a plan, but a system and a plan is only as good as the goals you set. So they set goals to get where they were, and it happened over a five-year period. They went from being one of the worst teams in baseball to going to the World Series. Well,
that's right.
Didn't happen by accident. Crane, who owns the team, obviously wrote down some goals. He and the young Nolan Ryan's son is the general manager on that team. What's his first name?
Oh, no. See,
Richard.
No.
Anyways, good guy. I know him. He goes to church with us, and he's a great guy.
Oh, really?
Good
Okay.
friend of Paul Kegel. Huh? I think it's Reed Ryan. But so these guys, I think, just done a great job because they set goals, set a plan to accomplish their goal, and they just follow their plan. And people that write out goals tend to do better than people who don't write out goals. Hello.
Apparently
if you
so.
don't know where you're going, if you start on a road trip and don't know where you're going, where are you going to end up? Who knows? I mean, you can't have a successful road trip without having a final destination, which is your target, which is your goal, and having a roadmap. So life's pretty simple. If you want to have a productive, fruitful life, it's important to set goals, right? Like Zig Ziglar said, it's important to set goals. You need goals in your life. And that's exactly what they've done on the Astros. But that's what you need to do as far as your health goals go. You can't be successful in your other goals if you're not healthy. So that's why we host the program Wellness Revolution, because it's a revolutionary concept to ask people to take charge of their own health. You know what? You're educated. Most of you out there have had a good education. If you didn't get a college degree, which not necessarily doesn't mean you're educated by any means. We know a bunch of snowflakes out there that are uneducated.
Those
You
millennials.
educate yourself. You can educate yourself, whether you get a higher education degree or not. Hey, look, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, these guys, they never got a college education. Guess what? Guess what they did? They built two of the largest companies in the whole world. How did they do that? Because they educated themselves, and you can educate yourself about your health. There's huge amounts of material online for you to see alternative views that cut against the grain to conventional medicine. You got two choices in life when you're unhealthy, really three choices. Don't do anything and just grit your teeth and bear it and go downhill as you get older, or go to a conventional doctor where you get your symptoms treated with a bunch of pharmaceutical drugs, or take charge of your own health. Get on a program, and I believe that each one of you needs a health coach. You need a doctor and a staff of professionals who will coach you onto a path of health and wellness naturally wise, so you enjoy a better quality of life without pharmaceutical drugs. And we're going to talk today about antidepressants, for one, as a starter, because I see so many guests that come into the Hotze Health and Wellness Center that either are currently on antidepressants, were on antidepressants at one time, or were prescribed antidepressants by their physicians. And it's such a travesty, because nobody is sick and tired and unhealthy because they have low levels of antidepressants in their body. When you were young and vibrant, and whenever you felt great and you were on top of your health, were you on antidepressants? No. You were healthy. Everything you needed in your body to make energy was procured by your body through what you ate, maybe supplements or exercise, and you were producing enough hormones, and you felt well. But as we age, our hormone levels decline. We get toxic from the various chemicals in the environment, and from the metals in the environment, and from infections, and from high sugar diets, simple carbohydrates diets, all create inflammation in our body, and that inflammation leads to illness, and it downregulates our power plants within our cells, so we don't produce enough energy. And when you don't produce enough energy, you feel sick and tired, and you just don't do well. So I saw a recent guest, and this is the gal was on Klonopin. Now, Klonopin is of the drug class benzodiazepine, and that is like Valium. That's what the first major benzodiazepine that came out was Valium. It used to be back in the 70s and or 80s. Every woman would come in to my office when I had a general practice. They wanted Valium. I didn't give it. I didn't prescribe that, but they wanted Valium. Their doctor gave them Valium for anxiety, for sleep, and those sort of things. Well, Klonopin is a much stronger and more powerful benzodiazepine like Valium. And so I went and looked at just some of the problems that occur with Klonopin, which is clorazepam is the generic name. So this young lady was on Klonopin, and she was given Klonopin because she couldn't sleep well. I think she's 41, something like that. She couldn't sleep well. So about a month ago, the doctor said, well, you need to take some Klonopin. All your blood levels are normal. And they tried to give her antidepressants a year before. She's having mood swings, standard deal, low energy, difficulty with weight, brain fog, couldn't sleep, irregular menstrual cycles, the whole 9 yards. Mood swings during the menstrual cycles. She just was not feeling well. Well, so they check her blood levels. Well, your blood levels are all normal. We just think you need a little Klonopin. Klonopin is a very dangerous drug, and here's withdrawal symptoms from Klonopin. Klonopin lasts about 2 days in your system, and so what happens when you quit cold turkey Klonopin, you get intense body tremors, hallucinations, or seizures. How's that for stopping a drug?
Oh, my goodness. There you go. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk more about this and antidepressants and the other options that you have. And like Dr. Hotze said, if you also have been feeling sick and tired, if you've been fatigued, if you're just really tired, and actually, you know what? If you want to win a gold health medal out there, if you want to do well in the Health Olympics, Do it naturally. Give us a call today at 281-698-8698. It's 281-698-8698. You are listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, your daily dose of radio reality.
Welcome back to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. And if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired and want to do a 180 and take charge of your health today, then give us a call at 281-698-8698. We're more than happy to give you a complimentary consultation and a complimentary copy of Dr. Hotze's best-selling book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness, and a copy of his latest book, Do a 180, Join the Wellness Revolution. So, that number is 281-698-8698. Here's Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with each one of you today. Thanks for joining us on Wellness Revolution, where I want to encourage you to do a 180 and take charge of your health. You're going down the freeway the wrong way on the health freeway. Guess what? Guess what's coming over the overpass? A truck. And if you don't turn around and do a 180, my friend, you're going to whack it. And then you're going to all of a sudden want to get your health back. Too late. When you get whacked, you can be crippled for life. You may end up being dead. I don't want that to happen to you. There's no reason for it to happen to you, but you've got to make a decision to take charge of your health. And why wouldn't you want to do that? Well, it's responsibility. The simplest way to do it is to write it down as a goal. Like the Astros wrote down as a goal, they're going to get into the World Series. Well, guess what? Write it down as a goal. You're going to be in the Health Olympics, win a gold medal. Write it down and write down when you're going to start, how long it's going to take you to get your health back, how much energy you want to have. What's your energy level on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being brimming with energy, 0 no energy. Where do you land compared to where you were when you were in your peak of health? What about your weight? What about your thought process? You got clear thinking, you're sharp, mentally acute, or you got brain fog? How's your sleep? Are your moods? You upbeat, enthusiastic, ready to get going? Or as you get up and go, got up and gone? How about your joints, muscles? You have any aches or pains? How about your bowel function? Is it sluggish, or you got irritable bowel syndrome? How are your romantic moods and inclinations? Ladies, how are your cycles? Are they normal, regular, light? Are you heavy, having cramps, mood swings, breast tenderness, headaches when you go through all that? What about infections? You getting recurrent infections? If you are, then you got a problem with your immune system. You got to get it healthy. All these are common symptoms we see with individuals like you as you mature. You got 3 choices. Do nothing, grit your teeth and bear it like mom and dad did, or you can go on the drugs like they did and be on a pot full of drugs treating your symptoms. Unfortunately, the drugs create more symptoms, which means more drugs. Or you can decide to do 180, take charge of your health naturally, so you enjoy a better quality of life without drugs, so you're full of vim and vigor and vitality. How about getting up in the morning, can't wait to swing the bat? You don't like being in the on-deck circle. You want to be at the plate of life, swinging the bat. That's what we want to do. Well, I've been talking to you about one form of, I said I was going to talk about antidepressants. We're really talking about anti-anxiety medication, the benzodiazepines. And benzodiazepines are a class of drugs that, or a combination. This ain't going to mean much to you, but from organic chemistry, it combines a benzene ring with a diazepine ring, hooks together, and they give it to you. And it's supposed to raise your gamma-aminobutyric acid, GABA level in your brain. It's supposed to make you be able to better receive GABA, so your moods are elevated, but it affects your brain. They're not quite sure how it even does it. But just to name some of the drugs, I mentioned Klonopin, but here's some other drugs that some of you may be on. Diazepam, which is Valium, Alprazolam, Librium, Xanax, Dalmane, well, that's an old one, Halcion, Lorazepam, Ativan, on Restoril, Transine. You know, they got a pot full of these benzodiazepines that the drug companies give. And here's the deal with the side effects of benzodiazepines. I mentioned to you, let's see if we got it right here.
I'm sure there is more than one side effect.
Now listen, these are withdrawal withdrawal effects on benzodiazepines. It can cause you to have hallucinations. It can cause you to have abnormal sleep. You have terrible withdrawal effects on these drugs. You cannot stop them cold. If you're on an antidepressant, you hear my show and you hear me talking about antidepressants or any anxiety drugs, you cannot stop them cold or you'll get severe, serious side effects. Another side effect of stopping a cold is seizures. You want to have that? These drugs are given out like candy to individuals who will have a sleep problem. For crying out loud in a bucket, safest thing you could take is melatonin. Take melatonin, 2 or 3 milligrams at bedtime. That's a natural, normal sleep hormone that the body makes. It goes down as we age. Try that. Why would you try a drug? You can buy that over the counter. You might hear at Hotze Health and Wellness Center at the pharmacy, at the vitamin store, I mean. Take that. But don't get yourself on a bunch of drugs that have, I mean, how can these be good for you? Let me see if I can find the list of side effects here. Cover me for a minute while I'm looking this up.
Well, it's actually reminding me of Dr. Bregan's book, Medication Madness, and I highly recommend that anyone who's, either if you're on antidepressants or if you know people who are, you really should pick up that book, Medication Madness by Dr. Bregan, Breggin, because he really talks about how disruptive these drugs are and how dangerous these drugs can be. And he lists case after case, because he would testify in court cases about all kinds of crimes that would occur or unfortunate incidents where people were under the influence. And it is really amazing how people, perfectly normal people, when they're under the influence of these drugs, or actually if they have an immediate withdrawal, or if they have an abrupt change in their dosage, they completely change. They're not the people that they once were, and people are completely mystified by their behavior. But I'll never forget, there was this one story where this man thought that his wife was an alien. The drugs had him convinced that his wife was an alien and she was part of a contingency to come to Earth, take over the planet, and he would be sitting across from her from dinner pretending she was not an alien, but he was secretly plotting on how he could kill her so he could save the planet. And so literally this is what was going through his mind being on these drugs. And so again, they're prescribed so often. People are going to have varying results, but again, that's why we always encourage people never to go cold turkey, because they are so strong. Isn't that right, Dr. Hotze?
Hey, they are addictive.
Very addictive.
All these drugs are made to be addictive. So you have to take them all the time. If you try to stop them, you go crazy, and you take it again and you go, I feel better. I must need it. Well, if I gave you cocaine, for crying out loud, gave you cocaine because you were feeling kind of unenergetic and, a little bit sluggish.
It would probably pep you up.
It'd pep you up, man. I feel great, Doc. Give me this cocaine again. And if it was legal and I gave it to you again, well, you got to have more and more and more, and then you try to stop it and you go crazy, and you got to take it again and go, I must need cocaine to feel good. Well, here's benzodiazepines. We're talking about Klonopin, but we're talking about all these, the Ativan, the Xanax, the Transine, and all these, the Valiums and all this. Here's some common side effects, which are listed on the TV whenever they promote these drugs: lightheadedness, drowsiness, confusion, sedation, memory impairment, poor balance, decrease or increase in appetite, nausea, vomiting, constipation, weight gain, dry mouth, reduced libido, fatigue. Oh, here's some serious side effects: respiratory depression, you can't breathe as well, dependence and abuse, jaundice, seizures, suicide, slowing of the heart rate, severe low blood pressure, fainting, movement disorders where you just can't stop moving. You're just moving all the time. They're called akathisia. These are serious effects, side effects of taking the drug. And listen, when you come off the drugs, you can have a host of health problems. And they just should not be given. Let me see, withdrawal symptoms: inability to concentrate, sleep problems, irritability, panic attacks, hand tremors, palpitations, headaches, seizures, hallucinations, perceptual changes. Why would you take a drug that causes side effects when you take it and causes more side effects when you discontinue taking it? So here's my recommendation. If anybody wants to put you on an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety drug, just do what we tell our kids. Just say no. I'm going to find out what's causing my problems. I'm going to go get myself. I'm going to do a 180 and take a natural approach to health. That's what we're talking about here on Wellness Revolution today, and I want you to do a 180.
Absolutely. And if you would like more information on doing a 180 and taking charge of your health, then give us a call at 281-698-8698. It's 281-698-8698. You're listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Why walk amongst the living sick when you can join a wellness revolution? Here's Dr. Hotze.
Welcome back to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. This is Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, then know there is a natural way to address your health issues. All you have to do is give us a call at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. Here's Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much, Stacey. Thanks for joining us here on Wellness Revolution, where I want to encourage you to do a 180. Why don't you just say this? I am going to do a 180. Can I hear you say that? I am going to do a 180 and take charge of my health. I'm going to do a 180 and take charge of my health. I want to encourage you to do that, because if you do that, then while you're alive, you're going to feel alive. You're going to be full of enthusiasm, energy. You're going to have vitality, vibrancy. You're going to enjoy your spouse, your kids, your family, your friends, your church life, your recreational life, your work life. You're going to have a much better existence. Why not, while you're alive, why don't you just feel healthy and well? Why not be happy to be alive rather than kind of dragging around? We've been talking about anti-anxiety drugs like the benzodiazepines, Klonopin, Xanax, Ativan, Transine, whole host of these anti-anxiety medications, Halcion, that are given for anxiety, for sleep. Some are given for epilepsy. And they can cause a host of side effects that we talked about and a host of withdrawal effects. You become addicted to these drugs. They're dangerous. And if a person has symptoms, whether it's sleep, poor thinking, anxiety, panic attacks, whether they're depressed, and you never were that way before, well, then let me tell you what. You're not sick because you have and nobody's sick because you have low levels of pharmaceutical drugs in your body. If you believe that, I can sell you some good piece of property in the swamps of Florida, or I can sell you some beautiful beachfront property in the Mojave Desert. You know, it's got a lot of sand. We're just missing the water. So you can't get well. You don't get well taking toxic chemicals. I don't know how clear I have to make that. That's not just what I believe. That is good old-fashioned common sense. All these drugs that are given by in conventional medicine, produced by pharmaceutical companies, never existed before in nature. They have to be detoxified by the liver. That means they're toxins. Toxins means they're poisons. You can't poison yourself to good health. My daddy told me, son, the night I graduated from med school, I've said this over and over, and I'm going to tell you again, son, don't poison your patients like all the other doctors do. And I don't. We don't do that here at the Hotze Health Wellness Center. Now we're talking about antidepressants. Antidepressants, particularly the SSRI. That stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Oh, that's a big word. So this is what the primary drugs are. And those drugs, I'm going to give you a list of those drugs. The common drugs that we see, antidepressant drugs, would be Zoloft, would be Effexor, would be Paxil, would be Prozac, Levopro, Lexapro, and a host of other reuptake inhibitors. What does that mean to be a reuptake inhibitor? Well, they work on the brain, and they selectively inhibit your brain's ability to uptake a drug, serotonin, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So it's thought, if we can block serotonin uptake, we can make people feel well again. They'll sleep well, they won't have anxiety, they won't have premenstrual syndrome, they won't have depression. But these drugs come with a host of side effects. And the reuptake inhibitors, the predominant one that the SSRIs work on are serotonin. There are some others like Effexor, which also affect the uptake of other of the neurotransmitters. Now, they're all based off of a very popular drug in America that is illegal, and it's the drug cocaine. If you go to your Google cocaine, and look for the molecular structure of cocaine, and look at it. Boom. And set that aside. Go to another screen and say SSRI inhibitors. Go to Paxil or Prozac and look at the chemical structure of those drugs. They're almost identical to cocaine. Cocaine is a reuptake inhibitor. That's why when people take cocaine, they get these highs. They get very outgoing. They get manic. They feel great. Got a lot of energy. And then when it wears off, you got to take more cocaine. They got to take more and more and more. And they get strung out on this. And then when they stop it, they have these withdrawal side effects. Well, what the pharmaceutical companies apparently thought, they looked out and said, "Man, there's a huge market for cocaine. A lot of people are taking it. What if we took something and made it similar in chemical structure so it was a reuptake inhibitor as well, and see if we can make people feel high and feel really good," which these drugs routinely don't do, but as just like cocaine gives you terrible downers, get up and down. And well, that's what happens when you get on these antidepressants. Cocaine is very addictive. The antidepressants are very addictive. Cocaine has serious withdrawal side effects. So do the antidepressants. It's when you change the dose of the antidepressants, you get some severe side effects. And when you start taking them, you can have outbursts of anger. You can have suicidal ideation. That's a black label on the prescription. May lead to suicidal thoughts. Why would I want it? As a matter of fact, when they started giving Prozac back in the late 80s, they noticed a 6-fold increase in suicide among patients that were taking these antidepressants. And it took them from the late 80s to 2004 before the FDA finally would even let them put a warning label on the side.
Beyond irresponsible.
It's just totally in there because that's in there. They're in the box of the pharmaceutical companies. They're in there. They hold them. They control the FDA. The FDA makes about 25% of its income from prescription drug user fees, where they take a percentage of the profits that the pharmaceutical company makes. That's how they finance the FDA. One of the ways they finance it, besides with federal dollars. But these drugs are very dangerous when you start them, increase the dose. I know numerous people, that have taken those drugs and within a few short months committed suicide. And I don't want that to happen to any of you. We're going to be back, and I'm going to talk about what you can do instead of taking antidepressants when you're feeling low in energy, have mood swings, can't think clearly, can't sleep well, hurt all over, have premenstrual symptoms. There's some safe, natural approaches to improving your health.
That's right. There's a much better, much healthier way to address your health issues. You can give us a call at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. You are listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Now back to the Wellness Revolution. Here's your host, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
This is Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, where we are on a mission to help you achieve health and wellness naturally. If you would like more information on doing a 180 and taking charge of your health, and give us a call today at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. Here's Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much, Stace. Thank each one of you for joining us here on Wellness Revolution, where I want you to know I believe that you need a health coach. You need a physician that will put you on coach you onto a path of health and wellness naturally, so you enjoy a better quality of life without having to use pharmaceutical drugs. Does that make sense? If it does, you're listening to the right program. If it doesn't, then I turn off the program and go somewhere else. Listen, we've talked about the problems that people commonly have as the aging problems, and that is the fatigue, the difficulty with weight. Paradoxically, some people have problems. They lose weight and can't gain weight, and that can be also from decline in hormones as well. Not as commonly, but it does happen. Cold body temperature, inability to focus and think clearly, depressed mood, joint muscle aches and pains, sluggish bowels. Women get irregular menstrual periods. They get infertility. They get miscarriages, get recurrent and chronic infections, loss of libido, the whole 9 yards. Mood swings, All these things can, and depression, anxiety attacks, panic attacks, all these can be addressed naturally. As we age, inevitably our hormone levels decline. So when you go to the doctor and you take a look at and he looks and says, well, doctor, I think I've got all these signs and symptoms of low thyroid because you've done a symptom check and you come out positive on it. And he does a blood test. Inevitably, 95% of the time when we do a blood test, it is always going to fall within the wide range of normal. The wide range of normal is as wide as the Grand Canyon, as tall as the Empire State Building. You just can't fall out of that range because the lab values by the labs are defined wherever 95% of the people fall. And it's a very wide range. So you could have been at the top of the range when you were younger, optimal levels of your thyroid hormones and your hormones, and now you're down in the low end of the range. Well, that affects the energy production within your power plants, your mitochondria. And they don't produce as much energy. And you're going to feel sluggish. All your organs don't work as well because you're not producing enough electrical energy. And that's the energy in your body's electrical energy. That is what enables your cells to function. You got to have energy. You got to have energy in your cells. So as thyroid levels fall, you can have all these problems that I talked about. In women, as they march through their menstrual life, after they've had kids, commonly this happens. But anyway, as you march through your menstrual life, they start, your cycle at 14 or 15, 13, goes until you're approximately 50, and then you go through the change. Well, there's a whole change of hormones that occurs. You get good levels of hormones if you're healthy when you're young. You have your kids, the ovaries have been turned off. They got to switch on now. Women oftentimes say, my metabolism changed after I had my last baby. Well, that's common. Or I hit 35 or 37 and I just don't feel well anymore. That's because the hormone estrogen begins to dominate the hormone progesterone. These are hormones that balance each other out. Estrogens are made all month long. They proliferate. They're proliferative hormone proliferating the inner lining of the womb. Progesterone matures at it. Happens after ovulation, day 15 through 28. If you don't make enough progesterone, estrogen dominates. You get changes in your menstrual cycles, heavy bleeding, cramping, mood swings, breast tenderness, headaches. This may last 3 or 4 days before the period. 5 to 7 days may last the whole last half of the cycle. You just don't feel well. You got too much estrogen. Your periods are heavy. You go from 3 to 5 days, 5 to 7, now they're 9 to 15 or whatever, and you just don't feel well. You go to the doctor, of course, he's got a solution, and it's a surgical solution. You can stop the bleeding by taking out the ovaries, no question about it, but that didn't address what was causing the uterus not to function right to begin with, and that's related to your hormones. So you can easily balance out your estrogen hormone using natural bioidentical progesterone, which we offer here at the Hotze Health Wellness Center and Hotze Pharmacy. You can take that, and that can be a godsend for most women. It is a godsend. I can't tell you the wonderful results we have on that, mixed with a little bit of thyroid. And then, of course, your adrenal glands, as you get older, they begin to get sluggish and they begin to get fatigued, and you may need to support the adrenal glands as well. So hormone decline can cause, in men too. Men, your testosterone levels are going to decline as you age. They peak in your early 20s, around 20, and then they begin to decline. So that by the time you're 50, they're a third of what they were when you were in your 20s. When you're in your 60s, they're about a quarter. And guess what? That affects your initiative, assertiveness, sense of well-being, self-confidence, moods, goal orientation, drive, directiveness, decisiveness, and analytical ability. Both male and female hormones affect your brain function, your neurotransmitters, which the doctors are giving you antidepressants to do. Why don't we just raise your hormone levels back up so the brain can work well again? So it's got energy to function. The brain requires twice as much energy as any organ in the body. I think it consumes about 20% of the energy produced in the body. The brain needs a lot of energy. And if your power plants within your cells don't produce enough energy, guess what? Your brain's not going to work well. You're not going to think well. You're not going to feel well. You can be depressed, panic attacks, mood swings, depression, the whole 9 yards. You're not going to feel well. So we can replenish your natural occurring hormones. Combination with that, got to change your eating, eat a healthy lifestyle. That means cutting out the simple carbs and all the sugars that we in America just consume by the buckets. The packaged, bag, canned food. We got to go look and see what's in all those things. All these chemicals. They're not healthy for you. You don't want to put those in your body because they make your power plants toxic. They make you unhealthy. So we got to take vitamins and minerals to help detoxify our body. We got to eat a healthy eating program. So we're eating healthy foods, natural foods. We're not eating packaged foods. We're eating real food. If you go to Whole Food Market, you can get organic real food, which is even better because it doesn't have all the pesticides and insecticides and all the chemical fertilizers associated with the growing of those crops. So you want to be away from that. So we have a healthy eating lifestyle, replenish your hormones to get the power plants producing energy, vitamins and minerals to help detox so your power plants can function well, and then do a little exercise. What does that mean? Does that mean I have to run a marathon? No. Why don't you just go out and walk a mile or two every day? Why don't you jump rope? Do some light lifting. Take some light weights and just do some repetitive exercises. Do some curls, do some, pullovers, do some bench press. You don't have to, male or female, you don't have to use huge weights. You just want to tone yourself up. So you have a program where you regiment yourself to exercise maybe 30 minutes a day. Maybe that's all you're doing. You're getting your heart rate up, walking, lifting a few weights, keeping yourself toned up, and you'll feel a lot better if you do that. If you have allergies, of course, allergies can be treated, and we're in allergy season now with the weed pollens, and that can be treated. We can determine at what level you're sensitive to the common allergens and give you sublingual drops under the tongue to help desensitize you to those allergens. Rather than weekly injections, you just take a couple of drops under your tongue on a daily basis. Simple regimen, simple program. I don't know why it's not adopted across the board by all doctors, but guess what? They don't know how to do it because we weren't taught that in med school. Wasn't taught a thing about it. I can't remember if did I have a course on vitamins? Maybe a course on nutrition, maybe an hour?
That's amazing.
An hour? Maybe? Nobody ever talked about how to use vitamins to help people get health and minerals to help people get healthy and well. Most common cause of high blood pressure is low magnesium. Take some magnesium. You can go miles. I can't tell you the number of people that we've gotten on blood pressure medication simply by using magnesium. So there are some simple and safe ways to prevent you from having to go on pharmaceutical drugs, particularly the harmful antidepressants and the anti-anxiety medications that we've talked about today. I hope you'll consider that. Do a 180. Take charge of your health today.
And it is all about a better quality of life. And Dr. Hotze has generously offered to give you all a copy of his book for those who want to call in at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. He'd be more than happy to give you a complimentary copy of his latest book, Do a 180, Join the Wellness Revolution.
It's a thin little book. You can read it in 30 minutes.
It's an easy read. It explains all about his philosophy. But you know what? You don't have to be a victim of the system. There are a lot of you out there that are suffering from various symptoms that Dr. Hotze's been talking about. And you have a choice. You can either go the conventional route or you can choose to take charge of your health naturally. And like Dr. Hotze says, everyone needs a coach, and everyone certainly needs a health coach. More than happy to do that for you and to provide you that direction that you need with your health so you can enjoy a better quality of life.
What number did they call to get the book?
281-698-8698. 281-698-8698. Always a pleasure having you with us each and every day on Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Have a wonderful and blessed day.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the